Ludicrous Feed is proudly sponsored by Carloop, data to empower Australia's EV revolution.
Hey everyone, today in this video I'm going to show you how to install brake caliper covers for your BYD Seal, courtesy of accessories supplier BYD.com. They've kindly sent me some caliper covers, brake caliper covers for my BYD Seal. They come in a variety of colors. I've chosen blue because, well, I just like the color blue and I think they would look nice on my BYD Seal. So yeah, I guess the question we need to ask is, why put brake caliper covers on your vehicle? Well, I guess when it comes to accessories, there's a spectrum of where people lie. On one hand, some people might say, well, no accessories for my vehicle. I need the car to function and look the way God intended. And then on the other side, people want their car to look a bit unique, a bit different from everyone else. And I guess, you don't want every car to look the same in this world. It'd be quite boring. So I guess that's where accessories have their place in this world. So I lie somewhere in between. I like a few accessories just to make my car look a bit different. And this is where brake caliper covers do come in quite nice. These, I have been told, are powder coated, and they're actually pretty good quality as well. And they've been designed specifically for the BYD Seal. You can actually see as I swivel the brake caliper covers around like that in the light, BYD. So they're specifically designed for the Seal, and the Chinese words there say BYD, which is BYD in Chinese. And I've been told also they don't interfere with heat dissipation of the brake calipers too, so in case you're concerned about that. All right, well, I guess the first job is to jack up the car, which I will do for you right now. Okay, so the first thing you need to do before you jack up your car is to remove the lug nut covers. And to do that, you need to go into your boot. There it is, the boot of my BYD Seal. And just a shameless plug now for some more top BYD accessories, including the trunk or boot mat cover. This is quite good. And also the second row seat protectors as well. So that just helps protect the seats, and also the trunk and boot, all available from top BYD. Links in the video description below. So let's get access to the subfloor area. So lift this up, and then you'll see another mat also available from top BYD. And then below that is another subfloor. And there is the clip or the lug nut protector remover. Remove that from the compressor kit, and then away we go. Okay, next step, here we are at the wheel, and first thing is to remove the lug nut covers or protectors, and that's these things here. So we can get access to the lug nuts, and that's where this clip is useful. And then we literally just slide it over the lug nut protector, hear a little click, and it just slips out like that. So let's go ahead and take them all off. Okay, so here we are. They're all off. All the lug nuts are now exposed. And by the way, this is a 19-inch tire and wheel, the same one that came with my BYD Seal Premium. It's the OEM tire. And I also forgot to say that the caliper covers are aluminium alloy, powder coated. All right, so the next thing you'll need is a jacking kit. So I just have a simple scissor jack, and this actually came with another accessory that I have for the BYD Seal, which is the spare tire. I'll leave that in the video description below, links to that product. Of course, any jack will suffice. This is just a simple scissor jack, just as long as you make sure that the capacity is adequate for your car. So the capacity for this jack is 2,000 kilograms, which is for the jacking point. Obviously, you're just lifting up 1/4 of the vehicle, so a capacity of 2 tons is sufficient for a vehicle like the BYD Seal, which is over 2 tons in weight. Okay, so before you jack up the car, I suggest you loosen the lug nuts before you do that. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to loosen them when the car is jacked up. So what you want to do is loosen them in a crisscross pattern. So I would start with that one and then go there, 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 and there. And I'll use the supplied wrench with the kit to do that. So basically in there, and then I'll loosen each one. I wouldn't take it off completely, just leave the lug nuts on, but loose before you jack the vehicle up. Okay, so I've loosened them all. Just want to make sure that I can sort of finger loosen them all now with this. And indeed, they can be all finger loosened with this attachment there. We are now good to go to jack the car up. So the BYD Seal, as well as the BYD Atto 3 actually, has got convenient jacking points. So you can see there a tab where you can put the jack. Okay, so now you can see that the scissor jack sits firmly onto that jacking point there. I've sort of hand lengthened it or hand opened it. And now I'm going to use the extra torque attachment to lift up the car like that. It's got a ratchet too, so it makes it easier. All right, let me do this and I'll get back to you. Okay, so you see that the jack has lifted the wheel off the ground. I can now spin the wheel like this. You can see how it's easier to loosen the lug nuts when the wheel is stationary on the ground. Otherwise, it's quite hard to loosen the nuts with the wheel suspended like that. So now I can, once again, finger loosen these lug nuts individually, and we'll get them off one by one. And just take note when you take them off, the BYD nuts are actually tapered. So see, they come out like this. So when you put them back on, make sure you put them back in the same way. So taper in, so it fits nicely in the hole there, because as you can see, the socket is also tapered. So make sure it goes back in the same way so that it safely, snugly screws back in like that. Okay, so you notice that the calipers are paired. So these two smaller ones are for the rear wheels, and then these two bigger ones are for the front wheels. And they both actually clamp on in different ways. So I'll start with the front ones since I've taken the front wheel off. So the front caliper covers are designed such that you've got extra attachments like these. And I'll try to do this with one hand, but essentially this actually clamps onto the caliper in this regard. So this is the extra attachment that sits on like that, and the caliper sits here. I'll show you that on the wheel, of course. And they also give you a screw and washer like this, and that essentially sits in like that. So that screws down like that. And they also give you an Allen key as well, so use that to tighten that up when you've clamped this on the caliper. And then same goes on the other side as well. So same thing, screw and washer in there, tighten with Allen key, and that clamps onto the brake caliper. And I should mention too that a little bit of arts and crafts is required, because they give you stickers like these. I mean, you can request whatever sticker you want. I just requested the BYD ones, and then you just got to stick them on individually onto each caliper cover. So that takes a little while, and your fine motor skills will be tested in the process. Okay, so here is the wheel with the tire off, and of course that is the brake caliper there, and that's the caliper cover. So that, see how that sits on top like that, right? That's actually a pretty good fit, to be honest with you. So it's been designed really well, powder coated aluminium alloy. And then for the second part, you want to grab the back attachment like that, and of course they come in two pairs, so make sure you get the correct one. And then that fits over the other side of the caliper cover. Of course, ideally you want two hands, unlike myself, holding the camera with the other hand. Okay, so with the screw and washer ready to go, just slip it into the hole like so. Just sort of finger tighten it to start with. And then you can grab the Allen key. Of course, I'm doing this with one hand, but it should be much easier with two hands. Okay, so I haven't tightened it too much, just because I've got the bottom one to go first, so let's do that first. Okay, so the bottom attachment is a bit hard to demonstrate with one hand, but essentially it's the same principle. You just put the attachment onto the back of the caliper, and again the screw and the washer goes in the same hole, and yeah, you just got to screw it in afterwards. So again, as I showed you outside the wheel, the two grey attachments clamp onto the caliper from the back, and then you get a nice finish from the front there. Okay, so I've tightened off the screws, and as you can see, this thing is solid. It is not going anywhere. Securely clamped onto the brake caliper, but there is still enough airflow for those who are worried about heat dissipation. It looks pretty good too, actually, I must say. So I'm looking forward to putting the wheel back on, and then yeah, we'll do the rear tire as well, or the rear wheel, finish off the other side, and then go for a drive to test them out. And just to inspect it from the bottom as well. Looks pretty good. And from this side too. And just from the top as well. Okay, so I've got the wheel back on, and I do suggest you wear gloves handling the tire, because yeah, obviously it's dirty, been on the road, if you want to keep your hands clean. But there it is, essentially, with the brake caliper there, just a bit of blue, just poking out through the wheel there. I think that's quite nice. Almost subtle, which is good. I don't know, I don't like it being too flash, but hint of blue is nice on the wheel there. All right, let's put the lug nuts back on. And as I said, when you put them back on, make sure they go taper in. See that? Taper in. So That's really important for safety because that's the way the socket has been designed. All right, so let's put them in this way, and yeah, hand tighten is okay to start with while the wheel is suspended. Okay, so I put the lug nuts on just by hand, and then just use the socket attachment of the wrench. And I always recommend, whenever you're taking on and off a wheel, always do so in a crisscross pattern so that you're not putting too much force or tension on any particular lug nut. So I'm going to do that right now, and just start hand tightening these with the socket attachment in a crisscross pattern. So that one, and then go down here. I'll do the same, so I'll go up there and down here and then back there, and then just check each one again. Okay, so now I'm satisfied that I've roughly tightened these via hand with the socket attachment, not too tight. So I'm happy now that I can release the jack or lower it down slowly, and then we can do our final torque when the car is down. Okay, so the car is back down to earth. I still need to tighten these lug nuts. Now, unfortunately, the BYD manual doesn't actually give you the correct force to tighten these lug nuts. I've looked everywhere. If you can find a source somewhere, let me know, officially for the BYD Seal or Atto 3 or Dolphin for that matter. Okay, so there it is. I'm satisfied now that the wheel has been put back on the car securely, and there it is, the brake caliper cover. Just saying hello there behind the alloy. All right, so let's move on to the back of the car and also the other side as well. Oh, last thing is to put the covers back on. So there it is in its full glory once again with the lug nut protectors on. Okay, so same principles apply for the rear wheel. Take off the lug nut protector, loosen the lug nuts in a crisscross pattern, and then find the jacking point for the rear part of the car. Again, there's a tab there which you can slot the BYD specific jack onto, and then away we go. Okay, so here's the rear wheel I prepared, save you from watching me jack up the vehicle again. But essentially the mechanism for attaching the rear brake caliper covers is different in the rear side compared to the front side. For this one, it's a smaller caliper cover like that, so it'll sit like this eventually, but obviously you need a way to clamp this on. And you'll see there at the back of the cover there are two holes, so one there and another tab there with a hole. Essentially that needs to be screwed onto the caliper, and so they have sent me these extra attachments here. So this essentially is a metal piece there with a screw sticking out, and that needs to sit here on this part, on the top there. So let me just put that on right now. So just gently just persuade it on like so. Right, so that sits down flush on this part of the caliper, and there's still room there between the rotor and the new attachment. And then for the bottom attachment, same principles apply as the top. I'm going to put the same clamp or same attachment down here so that the caliper cover has something to hook onto and attach to. Okay, so I put both pieces on, and I've made sure that they're flush to the caliper as well, and just ensuring there's still plenty of room between that and the rotor of the wheel. There it is there, so we are very clear, and we should be good to go now to attach the caliper cover on. Okay, so for that you'll need a nut like that, and then a separate washer on top, just to disperse the force along the attachment. Again, hard to demonstrate with one hand, but I'll do my best to hook this on. So there we go, there's one hook, and second hook below, so that's how it sits by itself. And obviously we now screw it on to keep it secure, and that's what it looks like. And they give you a little spanner as well, so just gradually do each one sequentially. That way it's fit correctly and even tension across both attachment points. Okay, so there's a fairly solid end point when you finger tighten these, so I wouldn't go too nuts, otherwise, pun intended, otherwise you may deform the metal, and obviously you don't want that. It's still aluminium alloy, so it's not, it's still a little bit malleable, so just be careful. Just when you get to that end point, I think that's probably okay. I'm happy with that with my tensioning. And as you can see, it's actually pretty solid. That is definitely not going anywhere. Obviously we'll give it a test and over time it'll tell, but that's quite nice. It's quite cozy there against the wheel and the caliper. So let's put the wheel back on. All right, so that is the rear wheel done. I gotta say, it looks pretty good. Love that the blue just sort of peeks out at you and winks at you. It's very subtle, which I like. I must say I was skeptical at first, but I quite like them now. Looks really good on the seal. So that is half the car done. That's the rear and the front of the left side of the vehicle done. So now I'm going to do the right side, then we'll go off and test them out on a drive and see how they go. Okay, so there you go. That's my BYD Seal with the new brake caliper covers, courtesy of Top BYD. Again, a discount code and link to this product and others featured in this video in the video description below. So check those out. Otherwise, yeah, very happy with the install. And I've now driven 48 hours with them on, including what you saw, just a little demo there in the car park. But yeah, no rattle, no noise. It's a smooth ride as it ever was with the BYD Seal. So very happy with it, and highly recommend you check them out if you need a bit of color for your vehicle. So yeah, thanks again to Top BYD for the supply of the brake caliper covers. Hope you enjoyed this video and installation guide. Otherwise, take care, stay safe, and as always, happy charging.